Hi everybody, it's Cash. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I'm still in Hollywood and hopefully I'm going to end up at the hotel in Hollywood, just around the corner from here, where the Academy Awards ceremony was first held in 1929. What's interesting is that they have started preparing already for the Oscars. It's on March 15th, which means closing down Hollywood Boulevard, putting up these barriers because I guess the bleachers and the red carpet and everything go down there, and so no traffic can go by. Everything comes to a halt in Hollywood for premieres, or premieres as we call them, and for things like the Oscars and various ceremonies, which are happening at the Dolby Theatre down here. This was a development based on D.W. Griffith's movie Intolerance. The whole design was based on that, including gigantic elephants. I was actually in Hollywood when they built this thing, and they had gigantic elephants on the top of the structure. And then apparently they had to take them down because somebody complained. I mean, they were a beautiful, stunning addition to the building, and somebody complained about them, and there was enough complaints actually to cause them to take the elephants down. So now you have this magnificent arch and the entire building around it, and the elephants are gone. This not only has a shopping centre, but next door is the Dolby Theatre. Used to be the Kodak Theatre when it was built, and across the street, because we can see it from here, we wouldn't be able to see it otherwise, is the El Capitan Theatre, which is a Disney theatre. It's owned by Disney, and it's where Jimmy Kimmel comes from every day. And then next door there's a Masonic temple, which Disney also owns. This is a place that people who live in Hollywood don't really come to unless you're coming to the Dolby Theatre or you're going to El Capitan. Why would you come here? It's just full of tourists. You've got Spider-Man here. Where is he? There he is. They just get actors and put them in fancy dress, like Halloween costumes, and they just run up and down Hollywood Boulevard with tourists posing for photos. But this is the entrance to the Dolby Theatre. They haven't closed it off yet, luckily. No, what they do is they put up giant Oscar statues here that you see on the red carpet shows, and people come in here. They go through here. This is the entrance to the Dolby Theatre. It's very, very grand, and when it's lit up and there are Oscar statues here, it's quite a big deal. It's very impressive. I was once asked by the BBC during my Hollywood heyday to be on the line interviewing stars for an Oscar party at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I had to wear a tuxedo and everything. Robin Williams went by and I talked to him. Judi Dench, she just lost. She didn't get her Oscar. And I remember saying to her, "Dame Judy, a nation mourns." And she went, "Does it really?" She's so great. And also Ben Affleck. I was talking to Ben Affleck. I had my microphone out and I was asking him a question, and he turned away and walked off and spoke to somebody else. And I don't know why, but there's something about somebody being rude to you that causes you never to want to have anything to do with them again, because you know what kind of person they are deep down. And he was clearly abrasive, an intelligent, talented guy, but abrasive and rude, I thought. And I've never watched one of his movies since. Matt Damon I will watch, but not Ben Affleck. You've got Grauman's Chinese Theatre there, which is obviously where everybody comes to, because they come for the handprints in the cement. Roy Rogers and Trigger. Humphrey Bogart is there. There's Keanu Reeves there. 11th of May 2019. Hugh Jackman. Ooh, Hugh Jackman. Kind of impatient. See the J there from Hugh Jackman? If you had a J like that, that would mean that you were closed off. And so he's probably great with people and great when he's performing, but very internalized with his process. And that's not a bad thing for an actor, I suppose. Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling for La La Land. Oh, here's another Spider-Man. This is Dark Spider-Man, a souvenir shop called La La Land, because everybody cashes in on that movie. These are all the tour buses, harvesting passers-by, trying to get you to go on a tour of the stars' homes. And apparently, some of the stars have moved away because of these tour buses. So they still take you to their house, and they have you believe that they still live there, but they've actually moved away. They're all lined up down here. And the Roosevelt Hotel is just there. I've only been to the Roosevelt Hotel once, and I was interviewing the guy who's in charge of monitoring the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's the guy who allots them or supervises the whole process. And nowadays, it costs about $85,000 to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I thought they gave them to you because of your accomplishments and because you've done so much in your life and contributed to the Fred Niblo. Who doesn't love Fred Niblo? You contributed to the world of entertainment. But actually, usually, it coincides with a movie coming out or an album coming out, and the PR company or the movie company, they pay for the star. So it's not the person themselves going, oh, thank you for this star. It basically means their production company or their PR company have paid for it. And it's now $85,000 for the star, the maintenance, the cleaning. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find a place, if I can, to tell you the pictures. This has more than a hint of The Shining about it, don't you think? It's beautiful in its way, but really quite creepy. There's the bar, even, from The Shining. This is the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. It was built in the late 1920s and financed by some pretty prestigious people, like Sid Grauman, who built the Grauman Chinese Theatre, and Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks, and in its day was occupied by people like Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Carol Lombard. In fact, Lombard and Gable lived in the penthouse here for, I think it's named after them now, but they lived here for quite a long time, and they paid $5. That was how much it cost to stay in their penthouse at the time. This is in 1930 or whatever it was. And of course, so many people have been here. Prince performed concerts here. I think he did like 5-6 concerts here. It's an incredibly attractive place within Hollywood. It's had periods of dilapidation, periods of neglect, then they spend $25 million on it, and suddenly it cheers up, and then it falls a little bit into neglect again. You know, that kind of thing. And so now it's not the original by any means, but the structure is the same. The walls holding the ceiling up are the same. So I thought I would just touch this one now. I don't know if this is real, whether it was added, but let's just see what happens when I touch it. It feels as though there should be a wall here, but it could just be a symbolic wall. I should just let you see what I'm looking at here. So if you were going to get Marilyn Monroe and all these famous people, even like H.G. Wells came here, and F. Scott Fitzgerald, and all the major stars of Hollywood as well, they all came here. And I guess there was segregation. Actually, there was segregation in Hollywood back then, but I'm talking about more hierarchical. I'm not going to sit here and Marilyn Monroe comes and sits next to me and goes, "Hi, how are you doing?" You have to be separated from the top people. So maybe that's what it is. I feel there's a wall here. Maybe there was, but I feel it's almost symbolic of being, no. Know your place. You belong down there. The celebs belong up here. And be a good boy. Don't venture beyond the wall. I'm not discounting the fact that that could be just me projecting my own insecurities. but that's what it feels like. So, that's it. I'm going to see if I can get a cappuccino in the hotel here as a celebration of reaching the Roosevelt Hotel. It's, again, another minor bucket list item. I didn't really have this high on my list, but, you know, I never really did it when I was here before, so this is a good time to do it. So I'm going to try and do that and see if they will serve somebody. And there isn't that kind of hierarchical segregation that there used to be in the 1930s and 1940s. Hopefully, fingers crossed. There's a rumor, I think it's true actually, that Shirley Temple, when she was a kid, practiced her dance steps on these stairs. Remember, she danced downstairs? That's the kind of history you get here. I love that. I love you can actually walk down. I'm not going to dance down. I may break a hip. But it's amazing that you can do that in Hollywood. And this is the Roosevelt Hotel, where she stayed and where she learned to dance. Turns out the hotel has a diner, which is right on Hollywood Boulevard, so anybody can come in and eat, and you can have a cappuccino here too. But that's all I'm doing. I'm having breakfast and a cappuccino, and that completes my bucket list item. So thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, guys.